What is going on, everybody? It is episode 177 of Pop Culture Crisis, and we almost had problems with the intro again. Luckily, the stream started, so thank you for joining us. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, crisis actors. What is up? I'm hoping that we can make it to 3 crisis parties today just for our guest who is hoping and praying for it.
Speaking of that guest, would you introduce yourself?
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Dane Font here, marketing man extraordinaire, the patron saint of White Boy Summer, and definitely not Batman.
And complainer, because he said he's not getting to 3 crisis parties, so he's being a little bit whiny earlier, but it is what it is. He wants to get to 3. He feels unloved.
Maybe 4.
We'll see. Well, yeah, but
don't get too cocky about it.
That's Hannah Claire territory right there. We'll get there. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about James Franco, the casting of him as Fidel Castro, John Leguizamo's response, the response of the actual Alina, a whole bunch of stuff, which I think is expertly done by the people behind the scenes, and why I think it was a mess made on purpose. In the realm of trying to make it more palatable and get it more in the public eye. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to review the movie Prey, which I had to... we'll get there. We'll get to Prey. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about Pete Davidson and Kanye West's expert trolling, and I do mean expert in pettiness, expert in awesomeness. Kanye West is the man. We're going to do that. We're going to do Podluck. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Mary, are we ready?
More than ready.
Dane, are we ready?
Beyond
ready? But first, we do have Chet. Unfortunately, he's not talking in these, but we are going to look at what he has to say here before we get started. So first he starts with his traditional, but then here it is.
Burpees in the dark.
Perfect form again.
Gratitude is the highest state of consciousness. Thank you. Which
Speaking of which.
Yes. And then we have, we don't have to do this S. We get to, which I like. He is on point today. I wish he was saying this. It says, if your body could be speaking to you right now, what would it say? Like, I just made a post the other day about the concept of, like, gratitude being a superpower. Like, I don't get to, you don't get to go to work, or you don't want to, like, you don't have to go to work. You get to go to work. And that's actually, like, I've noticed that certain people, if you can adapt that mentality, not for everything, but for a lot of aspects of your life, you'll be a lot happier, and I found that to be true for myself. Like, it's kind of hard to, I'd be much better at emoting this to you guys if it was the middle of the night when I'm far more linguistically palatable, I think.
Or if you had just seen Chet say it.
Exactly. So to me, this is one of those things where I agree 110% that, like, there are days when I'm struggling at work. Thank you. But then, I tell myself, I'm not, I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work. I'm blessed to have this job. And I think that carries over into all aspects of life. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way or if that's something that carries over into your lives.
I like this mindset because I don't want to wake up and immediately resent it and be like, why do I have to wake up? But you should be grateful that you even lived through the night.
Yep, that's kind of well, no, that's
it's a real thing.
For me that comes from recovery. Like, in substance abuse recovery, that's a large part of it, is learning to, like, be grateful for what you're, like, still allowed to be on this earth and be allowed to do with your life when things have been so bad before. So
yeah, because sometimes if you complain about your life, it's like, who do you think you are? Or who do you think you're talking to? Yeah.
Anytime I like when I talk to people here, if people are having a bad day, sometimes I do have a hard time relating, because I'm like, look, I could be dead right now. Like, I could very well not be here. So I guess that stuff, because of the perspective that lends. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily, he's in recovery, so that's probably where his perspective comes from as well.
I didn't know that about him.
You got to stay
drugs?
sober and you got to get jacked and stay sober. That's what that means. That's he's sober right now. So
is he in recovery for drugs?
I never saw a specification for what it was. It doesn't really matter, especially if he's not doing California sober or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I am with Chet 110% on this one. So thank you, Chet, for giving us a fantastic way to start the day. All right. So the main topic today, which I really do believe that this is expertly done stunt casting by Hollywood, but John Leguizamo has no problems with James Franco, but appropriating our stories, no more of that. Alina from Cuba, producer, defends the casting. The more I read into the story, the more to me it seems that the movie's not even about Fidel Castro. It's not. It's
Well,
about
it's about Alina.
it's about his exiled daughter. So
it takes place in Spain in part of it, right?
So if the movie wasn't even about it, in a world now where every movie is a female lead character, it feels like this movie wouldn't have stood out. But what is a great way to stand out from the pack and get good attention on your project? It's to do stunt casting. And in this case, we're talking about this movie way more than we would if just any other actor had been named for that role right now.
When I thought originally that this was going to be a biopic of Castro, I thought that was questionable because I don't trust Hollywood to make a an inherently political story into an unbiased retelling.
Yep.
But I'm kind of glad that it's about his daughter instead. She is a consultant for the film for biographical accuracy.
That was my biggest thing, was the daughter actually approved of James Franco's casting in this role.
Yeah, but also if you think she has a financial stake
Yes.
in the film and she's, getting paid for it, you don't know what's really going on if there's bias because of her.
Any publicity is good publicity for them at this stage in the hasn't even started
I
filming
don't think
yet.
that you should be directly involved in a biopic about your life.
It does seem weird.
As I said about Madonna, it's weird.
We're going to talk more about that. I kind of the opposite end of that tomorrow with Mike Tyson. But like in this, yeah, she has she approved of the casting, and but John Leguizamo takes serious issue with this. Now, this is mainly because I had to and I'm going to try to not sound stupid here, but basically the distinction between Hispanic, Latino, and the fact that Castro has Portuguese or has origins, like his great grandfather or something has Portuguese of Portuguese descent.
I mean, that would make sense with his last name.
Yes, and then Franco does as well, so that actually fits for this. So it says in Leguizamo's follow-up post from the original from his original post, he says what you can see below. He explains that he grew up and worked in Hollywood at a time where Charlton Heston played a Mexican, where Eli Wallach played a Mexican, where Pacino played a Cuban and Puerto Rican, when Ben Affleck in Argo played a Latin guy, and Marissa Tomei played a Latin woman. He says, we couldn't play our own roles, he says, to the Tu Wong Fu Thanks for Everything actress Julie Newmar. I don't know if anybody ever saw Tu Wong Fu Thanks for Everything, but yes.
By the way, like that face of like John, like whatever his name is.
Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
Yep.
Like he looks like he's LARPing as a Latino guy.
Do you want to play the video?
We can play the video.
Is it the hat that gets you?
It is the hat that gets me.
hat,
It's
a
like
little
sideways
All
hat.
right, look, I got no problems with James Franco, okay?
Yo.
So y'all just calm down. I grew up in an era where Latin people couldn't play Latin people on film, where Charlton Heston played a Mexican, where Eli Wallach played Mexican, where Pacino played Cuban and Puerto Rican, where Ben Affleck even in Argo played a Latin guy, and Marissa Tomei played Latin women, and we couldn't play our own roles. Even there was brown face, people painting themselves to look Latin in West Side Story, Eli Wallach in The Wild Bunch.
Do you think you remember
That's
being
the era
Luigi
I grew up in. The
in
era
the
where
Mario movie?
they told you to change your name, stay out of the sun, that only white Latinos or white passing Latinos would get jobs.
He must have
and
spent
they
like
weren't
3
even
hours on
main
Wikipedia
leads,
for all
'cause
that.
Every time you
Did you remember that I mean, this was like 2 decades before you were alive, but he played Luigi in the original Super Mario Brothers movie.
Okay.
We've been talking about Ana de Armas playing Marilyn Monroe. Is
Yeah.
it weird that it's allowed to go one way but not the other?
No, totally. And I pointed it out. It's really not about representation if Marilyn Monroe isn't represented by an American woman.
Yes. So it is weird that they're allowed to be mad. And like I said, I'm one of the people, like I'm probably less strict on these rules than a lot of other people, because so many great characters that I've seen have been race or gender swapped. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people, but I do care about the hypocrisy of it when people are saying that you can't do it one way but you can do it another.
It
for
depends.
The sake of,
Can you do it well?
yes.
And in Ana de Armas's case, because of her
I love how you say
dialect,
her name.
I also want to point out
What?
here, this is a picture of the two side by side. I know, Mary, you said he kind of looks like. To me, they look a lot alike.
he looks like if Castro grew up on soy milk.
Well, that's all you're going to get now. That's all you're
I
going to
guess
get.
so.
I mean, you're growing up. People are growing up at a different time now. And obviously they'll through makeup. It's sad, but through makeup they'll have to make him look
Right,
rougher.
but it goes beyond appearances. So
It's
if
funny.
Ana de Armas is saying is delivering these lines with a heavy Cuban accent the whole movie, it doesn't let you suspend disbelief.
It'd be incredible if in the movie he's like starting to sound like Scarface. He's like, okay, we're gonna liberate Cuba.
And I want to talk more about what the producer of this movie is. This has been like his passion project for like almost 2 decades.
Really?
Yeah, so it says Alina of Cuba producer Martinez Ofelan. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Responding to Leguizamo's Friday rant, said in a statement obtained by Deadline, "For one, let's take a historical look at true Latinism in today's mass culture of Hispanics, because a territory does not define a person's blood trail. What I mean when I say that is that a Latin means of Hispanic, Portuguese, Italian, or Latin American heritage and roots. All of the branches of the root being Latin. So to me, his statements can create a great talking point for people because his comments represent the confusion and identity crisis in Hollywood right now within the Hispanic community in America who claim to identify as Latin." I went and looked up a bunch of like what Leguizamo said. He said basically only 4% of people on screen right now are Latin. And that number seemed low to me. But then I realized through the stuff that I found before, which was from this website called Zippia, and I've used this before when we were talking about statistics and acting in general. But what it says here is that actually 15.6% of the acting population is Hispanic or Latino, but they lumped them together. It looks like Leguizamo doesn't want them lumped together. Am I taking that correctly?
It seems as though. I want to ask you a question, Brett. Do you think they let me play one of these roles?
Fidel Castro? If
he was complaining about white passing Latino actors.
Right,
though.
that's what I'm saying. So like,
you're still the problem if you don't have dark enough skin, which is just weird.
And he mentioned, and he said when he was younger that he had to stay out of sunlight so that he wouldn't get tanner for roles. Like that was a problem in Hollywood. One thing they mention a lot is like names, like people change their names. Like Martin Sheen, that's his last name is actually Estevez, but he changed it to Sheen to sound more American for his movie roles. The same went with Chloe Bennett. Her real name is Chloe Wang. She went by Bennett because she felt that it would get her more roles. James Roday, who is from the show Psych, I don't know if anybody here watches the show Psych, he now goes by James Roday Rodriguez because he now feels that it's beneficial. I mean, they frame it as like it's now like he doesn't feel like he has to hide that his last name was actually Rodriguez. But I think that now you could say that it's probably beneficial with all of the fact that so much of the influence in Hollywood right now is being put on the concept of diversity and inclusion, that having the last name Rodriguez would actually help him. And I had no problem with him changing it before to be just Roday if he felt that would help him then. I have no problem with him adding Rodriguez now. I say if you're, it's your profession, you want to make the most money possible, I have no problem with that. I do have a problem with the hypocrisy of like thinking it's okay when you did it when you were younger, but now that you don't have to when you're older, now you say it was bad back then. You played the game.
right.
Does that make sense? You played the game, accept the game for what it is.
And you close the door behind you.
Yeah.
So I really take issue with this, as you would imagine, because actors are breaking news. Actors are supposed to play people they're not. I know, shocker. But like beyond that, it's there's a lot of things here. For me personally, as like the designated Latinx, for me one of the most important things about like Latin culture is to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like personally, I don't think I can even convey all of my personality and who I am in English.
I mean, that you say that a lot. Like a lot of times, like you're
Yeah.
trying to explain something to us, and because English is your second language, you feel like it doesn't translate the same way it would, whether because of linguistic challenges or is it emotive that it just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, it's like some words just don't hit.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like, some concepts just don't hit. Like specifically when describing food, I've noticed like that's like a big thing. Like rice and beans does not sound as good as arroz con habichuelas. I'm sorry, it doesn't. And I don't know his background and of these things, but it just like a lot of what he's saying is, like sounds like racial purity, and it's like so like off-putting for me.
So this film is going to be in English?
Yes.
And you believe that would take away from the character of the film?
I mean, in my in my concept, yeah, it would. Like, I would prefer for it to be, you know.
I found this interesting because
and that's an issue.
As I was looking into Prey, they were people
Yes.
commenting about how they shouldn't have done this in English. They do have a dub that is in, what is it?
Comanche.
Comanche.
I almost feel like that. Like we're gonna get to that movie, but I feel like the things that about that movie that I had a problem with would have been remedied if I hadn't watched it in English.
That's one of my issues.
They had
too.
a very involved process to make sure their mouth movements were right for the dub to look more realistic.
Yeah. Yep.
But would less people have watched it then?
Probably.
If it had only been in that language,
mean,
or if this film were only in Spanish,
Or if this film cast a less known but more, like you said, I guess, ethnically, racially pure person,
yeah,
right?
but
Like,
then
To close on my point in that regard is that if you take a look at like family reunions from Hispanic people, you're gonna see like typically like all colors of the rainbow. Like, so it's like, I think like what he's implying is that like, well, while it's understandable that like in the past like roles like would be given to like white presenting people, but I believe like his implication now is like they have to look like him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I lived 26 years in Puerto Rico. I look nothing like you, you know? But it's like, does that like take away? Like, I don't know what he's trying to say.
also, like, if we were to take it a step further, should anybody that's not from Cuba be playing these roles? Like, maybe we shouldn't make the movie at all.
yeah, and Alina was bragging about how the film has an almost entirely Latino team in behind and in front of the camera, but that doesn't mean that they're Cuban, and it doesn't mean they understand the history or culture of Cuba.
It's pick and choose whenever they want to enforce the rules. Whenever Hollywood wants to enforce the rules.
It's
Thank you.
like, what if a team of a bunch of different European nationalities made a film that was significant to the culture of like Sweden or something? Like, that wouldn't mean that they know anything about it or have a different perspective.
And I want to ask this in like the most sensitive way possible. Is this kind of always proves the point to me that as much as people complain about America, we are almost without trying the most diverse country in the world, right? Like,
Absolutely.
without even trying.
Uh-huh.
So is this
Maybe, yeah.
if we were in a more homogenous, like is this just what we're going to deal with because we don't live in a homogenous culture? Whereas like if for some reason Bollywood wanted to make a Fidel Castro movie, they're going to cast Bollywood actors, and that's just who's going to be there to play him. So this is kind of our cross to bear, because we have encouraged and because we gladly accept and love the diversity that this country has. But then when people turn it around and make it a bad thing, or want to dissect it into you know what I'm saying?
What they want is all of the bragging rights that come with having a diverse population, but none of the natural consequences, which are we work together, live together, and have to produce films together that don't represent just one nationality.
Yep. And that's very, very difficult. I mean, we're seeing that with a lot of like, we need them in front of we need this group to make this movie in front of the camera, this group to make this movie behind the camera.
Why does it matter who's behind the camera?
I remember when I don't remember, it was, okay, when they were making Ali, the movie Ali with Will Smith, I remember that Spike Lee or Spike Jones really wanted to make that movie, and Will Smith said, no, I want Michael Mann to make that movie. At that time, that was the storyteller who he wanted making that film. He didn't care what he looked like, right? I don't think that would happen now.
What year was that?
2000 or early 2000s, 2004 maybe. I'd have to double check on that.
I definitely don't think it would.
No, it would not happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess to be fair, what Leguizamo is saying is that maybe these films wouldn't have gotten enough exposure or viewership
2001.
if they had casted someone else as Castro, but had they been given the chance to build a portfolio with equal opportunity, then they would have casted Cuban.
Is that just...
I don't know if that's even true, but he's still veering into the territory of just saying overall it's a problem if you cast a white person or even a white presenting, whatever that means, person.
Or Jessica Alba, white presenting.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about that recently, how she made a comment where she said, these Marvel movies are still very Caucasian. I'm always surprised how how boldly they say this stuff without feeling even the slightest bit of discomfort at saying something like that. But she says, yes, the Marvel movies are very Caucasian. I said, okay. Like, and then a lot of people in the comments were like, look, you made your career as white presenting, and now you don't want to own that. And that's a problem.
Dude, if their favorite influencer was wearing a Klan hat, people would wear Klan hats. Like, it's like
I don't know about that.
They're so brainless.
I don't know.
They're so brainless and silly. Like,
yeah, it was 2001 that Michael Mann made Ali. And like I said, Will Smith wanted Michael Mann to make that movie. He did not need somebody else to make that movie because they looked different. He felt that was the best storyteller to make that film.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I get you're being hyperbolic, Daniel. I think you're kind of right.
That they would wear a Klan hat.
Well, I don't think I'm being hyperbolic at all. By the way, I'm being quite literal. I think like people like follow trends.
So he points out that he felt like he had to stay, or he was told basically stay out of the. And Hollywood has been exceptionally crappy in the past, and actually I do believe that of the data that I found that Native Americans are extremely underrepresented in Hollywood. Like at least according to the data that I found. Like when we were watching
underrepresented
movie,
compared to their population in the U.S.
Yeah, like. Is that a problem? I can't say. I don't know how many people are actually acting, right? And that's the point of these arguments, is they're kind of unanswerable, right?
They're unanswerable because you can't account for how many of them are interested in doing so or trying to get roles and are not getting them.
Exactly.
It might just be that this population is not interested in being a part of that industry as much as others.
So he says the census came out in 2020, and it said that almost 20% of the population is Latino, and then a couple of years ago, we were only 3% of the faces in front of the camera, less than 1% of the stories, less than 1% of the crew, less than 1% of the executives. That's cultural apartheid, he says.
But that would imply that it's planned and enforced by some party, but it's not.
No. So
you can't just assign guilt and intentions to these circumstances.
Well, it's like we talked about with emotive.
You weren't on the inside.
That quote I said about emotivism. They love to assign intention to every action and hold everything in the most negative light possible. So, but I do, when it boils down to it, I think that this was stunt casting, because I also love the fact that he says, I don't have a problem with James Franco. So Me Too is out the window. He doesn't care about Me Too.
Right. I was thinking there's so many reasons you could be ticked about this casting. First of those being James Franco's controversy about, predatory allegations.
Pick and choose where you want to enforce, they say.
My guess is like when this initial campaign of like he's white fails, like they'll move on to the next step.
Well,
because ultimately what they want is like the result.
But they're not going to get it.
No.
And I thought secondly, reason that people would give backlash for the casting is because you're casting someone as an evil dictator, and then I realized because he was a communist that isn't going to happen.
No.
They don't care.
One more thing about I want to point out a little bit more of what the director, or I'm sorry, what the director of I don't know if he's the director or the producer, Martinez says. He says, I've never met Leguizamo, but felt the calling to address the fact that he's attacking me and my work based on false information because I'm actually not Hollywood, as he's insisted. I was born as a fourth-generation Hispanic from Texas, from the Iberian and indigenous Mexican, and have been the visionary behind this project since its beginning. Moreover, I've spent 16 years developing this around and with the support of Miss Fernandez, so with with Elena of Cuba, and took the time to find a female at the lead with Cuban roots. So he's attacking the feminine focus of the title unfairly, and that's where I think it comes back to. They're like, this is getting this movie unbelievably extra press when it would normally, if they had cast the other person that a lot of people on Twitter were suggesting was, how about Pedro Pascal? He's very big right now. But then it would have just been like, oh, Pedro Pascal is playing Fidel Castro in a movie, and they would have moved on. So they're using both James Franco's past with Me Too,
okay,
and his and the problems that they're taking with his background, and they're using that as a means to get this movie extra press. Stunt casting.
The way I see, like,
he probably won't even be on screen for very long.
Really? You think so?
We'll see. I don't know how long they'll put him on screen. Like the other actress who's playing Alina's mother, Mia Maestro, she's a great actress, but she's like a TV actress. She's not a film star.
I mean, I'm surprised that they even went ahead with this
to begin with,
because it would frame him in a negative light, obviously, and there are a lot of Marxists in Hollywood.
There are.
The way I see like cancel culture, it's like the analog version of a trending hashtag. And like what actors, when John Leguizamo, did I say it right? Mm-hmm. When they do things like this, essentially what they're doing is that they're posting analogously on a real life hashtag, just so like when people search the trend that they can have any form of virality. Like I generally think that 90% of people, when they do this, they truly don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really hard to believe that literally all of Hollywood got converted to like this like sociopathy like overnight.
Not overnight. It was always there.
Understood, but it wasn't like as prevalent, and as like they weren't like as like enthused, and that, you know, they weren't like,
well, it wasn't palatable to the outside world, and they've slowly put it into the regular public, and since 2016 that's exploded.
Well, what I'm trying to say is like I don't believe that they see, like I'm having one of these like translation issues. They don't have these beliefs deeply held in their heart, and it's more so as like a public relations move. Mm.
And that's what it feels like the majority of it ends up being. And to be fair, we're analyzing like the background of, you know, like the production side of Hollywood, not the film itself. But we'll see where it goes. I really don't know if I have a whole lot of faith that the movie will be great.
We do a little bit of emotivism too, you know.
Yes,
we assume bad intentions in Hollywood a lot, right?
I try to check myself
just from a different direction.
Yes, I tried to check myself at the door with that and do it as little as possible, and or at least I ask myself on a regular basis: is your own I had extreme bias over the movie Prey, like to begin with, and had to like check that
because
at the
you
door.
loved the earlier movies.
Yeah, that and I hated the trailer. That
really, a lot of people thought that they did the trailer really well, and then the movie didn't live up to it.
So to me, it didn't grab me, and we'll get to it. Well, I don't want to ruin that. So let's do super chats.
Sure. Waffle Sensei said, "Here's 20 to inspire chat to reach 4 crisis parties today. Let's go, fam."
Bless up.
Jonathan Harris said, "Let's get this party started."
Thank you, Jonathan.
Nathan Zettelmeyer said, "If he wants 3 parties, he needs to come on with Ian."
Well, then we'll need to attach Ian at the hip sometime.
I got Crystal somewhere.
Lure him up.
We'll lure him up with graphene.
Studio,
We'll put graphene in that chair and be like, Ian, come. There's graphene to be had.
He can smell it. Corey Anderson said, "Today is my 41st birthday. I just wanted to say hey to all of you. Love your show. Slowly but surely you will dominate. Mary, please get some sleep, or is that just your makeup? God bless."
Mary, is that just your makeup?
It's both. It's both. I don't know.
It's the same with me. I just covered it up with my glasses.
Yesh said, "Dane, stay blessed. Mary, stay based. Brett, stay not Brent."
I can't approve of this because there's no second T in Brett. That's a problem. I apologize.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, "Getting the pancakes are better than waffles debate started early to help to get to those 3 crisis parties."
Well, I mean, that's a debate that could go on for years.
Everyone say in the chat.
I got a new debate. Hard shell tacos or soft?
I was just tweeting about this. I said I can't do hard shell tacos anymore. They're too fragile and impractical.
Soft shell tacos.
Why are we on the same wavelength?
Tortilla.
Corn
or flour?
Corn.
But you got to do the soft shell right. You got to cook it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just have
Interesting.
Yes.
You can't just take it out of the package and then just...
The soft corn, like the softer corn tortilla.
You got to, like, bake them or something.
Typically, the idea is, like, after with the grease of the meat, you, like, cook it on both sides, and then you, like, drench it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go next.
Chris said, "All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. You see this? This is my Chet stick, Army of Darkness."
Dude, okay. You know what the hardest thing about talking about Chet is? Because is that, like, I feel like Chet discussions are better had like late at night when you're like kind of like your emotional defenses are down and you're feeling more talkative. Like those are when the deep Chet debates happen. We have to kind of have those debates, with lights on us. It's not quite the same. Like it'd be great to do like a midnight Chet stream where we just talk about Chet.
That's for behind the paywall.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's behind the paywall.
Waffles Sensei said, why don't we just get Justin Trudeau to play Castro? Unless, of course, it's a conflict of interest.
It might be a slight conflict of interest.
Shane Keena said, sometimes you have to love an expertly done mess, sort of like Sloppy Joes. Everyone loves them, but they're messy.
I do love Sloppy Joes.
I mean, I don't know if I love them.
More or less.
I do.
Halls and the Kids said... Oh,
Dan, you want to read that?
Dan,
I'm sure
you should
we'll
read that. I can't pronounce all these words right.
I recognize Batman and Stupid.
I recognize crepes.
It's very
pancakes.
poorly written. Halls and the Kid needs some education.
Is this Google Translate?
Los crepes son superiores a los panqueques y Batman es estúpido.
Something about Ben Affleck being a better Batman than Dane thinks.
No, definitely not it. She's saying like crepes are better than pancakes.
No, they're not.
Crepes are LGBTQ pancakes. We all know this.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that means.
They're like the fruity pancakes.
They choose to live boldly in a different way.
They're pancakes that grew up on soy milk.
Okay. And that Batman is estúpido. And why would I be offended? I'm not Batman.
Bad App said, new phone, who dis?
And then another one that I'm guessing you won't read either of those.
Wait, what? Oh, no. No, we're not reading that. Blue Heart said, Mary has an evil twin. It's well documented at this point. Is it?
Do you have an evil twin?
Where is she? Anything, I'm the evil twin. Where is my good twin?
Wait, yeah, where would the good twin be? I ask you.
Working at the Daily Wire?
PragerU.
The base answer.
Or PragerU.
I say you're like a necessary evil twin.
A necessary evil. Hey, that's a great name.
lawful evil twin.
Necessary evil twin is like, I can't believe there's been a movie named Necessary.
I actually
Evil
took
Twin.
that test and I got chaotic evil.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second.
What are you?
I don't.
Lawful neutral for sure.
Good. Lawful good.
For a second, I thought you said
they don't know how you are behind the scenes.
Fair enough. All right, we're gonna move on, guys. We're gonna talk about the movie Prey, and I had to sit with this one for a while. It's very hard for me to explain this movie. All the reviewers that I trust and love like this movie. Everyone that aren't the reviewers that I like and trust seem to like this movie.
Who are those reviewers?
That I like?
Yeah.
Jeremy Johns liked it. Mr. H Reviews liked it. Tyra Magnus liked it, but he pointed out that the elements that bothered me at first, and there was more, but those are like Jeremy Johns is the one that I go to mostly for like he's very good at like he's not as like colored by his opinion of Hollywood as we are, or I shouldn't say we are, as I am. Look, the wokeness when it's there, I despise it, and I have a very hard time when I see it early on in the movie getting over it. It took like an hour for me to distill down into it what it was that I felt about this movie, but I think I've gotten there. But I'm going to ask you guys your opinions first. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Dane, thumbs down?
Down.
Okay.
All the way down.
I'm thumbs here.
No way.
no way, dude.
Brett,
Okay.
stop. You hate it.
I loved the violence.
Really?
I loved the violence, though I felt that they played it safe with the gore. They cut, like, there wasn't very much gore.
Like when he picked up the spine on the
cut
wolf's
away.
head, they went far away from the shot.
They cut away. I love the cinematography. Remember, I'm looking at that from this point. Like, I love the cinematography. I love the color grading of this movie. And more than anything, which Jeremy Johns pointed out, which I couldn't actually, like, put into words first, the sound design in this movie is incredible.
What about the plot, Brett?
What I hated about this movie
was the movie.
Because all of those things about a movie could be terrible, and if the story is good enough and the characters play well enough, then I'll like it.
The lead character, if the lead character pisses me off that much in the first 10 minutes, you can't.
In the first 10 minutes,
hearing her talk,
it built up for me.
Hearing her talk, when her motives are that annoying that early on, you've lost me. Okay. First of all, it doesn't sound like the 1700s. It sounds like modern day. Like, they don't talk like it's.
Well, it doesn't sound like Comanche either.
Okay. The way she spoke was annoying. She had not an ounce of humility, despite she's not a Mary Sue in the context of the Predator. She's a Mary Sue around a bunch of men that she beats up with impunity.
She was like deeply unimpressive in the beginning of the movie, and then like she like struggled to kill a bunny.
It always felt like she was motivated to fight the Predator out of spite.
Yes.
To her own family.
That's what I mean by
rather
motives.
than trying to protect people from it.
She comes back to the okay, guys. We're gonna do spoilers too. I'm not dancing around this one. She had horrible motives throughout the movie. She had not an ounce of humility. The brother was a far more interesting character. I would have rather the movie had been made about her brother. If they had aged her up, made her a mother, and had her be like the predator, like the men of the tribe are away. And she has to protect the women of the village.
If she had a stake in protecting the village and not just feeding her own ego.
Yes, her ego was...
And she doesn't even need to be a mom for that to be the case, but like it was
just
always about like envy and wanting to spite her brother and being disobedient and angry.
Yes. People will quabble like about the historical inaccuracies of that. Like that's annoying. Like they would have never allowed her to behave that way. She would have been.
Well, they did. They tried to punish her for it, and I understand that.
And all of the male characters are hilariously like inept
and brutish and simple-minded
and simple-minded. Yes, and just vaguely bad.
Incompetent.
The part
even when they were displaying bravery by like charging at the Predator, they were made to seem stupid for doing so.
Yes.
I agree with you that the positives of the film were definitely like scene construction. The costumes were like pretty decent. I took a big I didn't like that the movie was in English. Like I would have preferred like they spoke in Comanche or whatever the hell it is, and like had English subtitles. Like it really took me out of like.
You could have watched the dub though. They
but
say they did it really well. I have no idea if that's true.
The movie had an indie feel to it, which I liked. I enjoyed that aspect of it. But like I said, I could not take her in this role. Amber Midthunder is apparently like I haven't watched Legion all the way through, so I don't remember. I've not watched a lot of other stuff with her in it that I can remember. There was an actress named Koryanka Kilcher who did 4 episodes in Yellowstone, and she's a stunt actress as well. I felt she could have done this role very, very well. Or who's the other one? Carmen Moore. They're like both Native American actresses who I felt were more believable in this role. And like I said, I couldn't stand the actress. I really could. Like, not the actress. I couldn't stand the character that she was portraying and the motivations that she was portraying. The violence, I liked. Anytime the Predator was on screen, I was happy. It was when she's talking that's annoying.
But any of the violence that involved her was so hard to suspend disbelief.
No, the Predator violence, not her violence.
Okay.
Yeah. Watching her mow down 6 trappers was hilarious, considering she's like a quarter their size.
There was one thing the Predator did that I thought they could have thought through better, or at least given us the satisfaction. There were those 3 explosive devices, and they what?
Just look at chat.
Oh.
No, thank you.
Damn, dude.
And those 3 explosives, they panned out away from it, and then they were like barely even explosions. Like if you're gonna have a scene where she's walking away from explosions, at least make it a little Michael Bay, right?
That would have
was underwhelming. But
Thank you.
I also feel like
she should have struggled
more. The Predator's violence was a little too human-like. Even though this character has no face, no emotions, and we don't have a clear idea of its motivations either, it still seemed like it was try hard, like it was walking around trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Even though it's an alien.
I really would have aged her up. I would have aged up the character of Naru.
How old is she supposed to be?
I'm assuming like mid-teens. The part about the magical plant that lowers your body temperature was kind of cool, I guess. And again, I'm going to point out for the people in the review, I am not like a big there's a lot of like Predator lore, between all the movies, the comic series. I'm just a fan of the first movie, so I'm sure there's like I know from what I understand the scene with the flintlock pistol, that's a callback.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Brian, when he saw that, I was watching it with him. He was pissed about that because he says it like makes no sense with what happened to it in the first movie.
I don't really have an issue with her age as much because like I didn't care. My biggest issue was that so from the beginning you know that ultimately like she has like a pilgrimage that she must undergo, and it's basically to do a big hunt, right? And then they give her a skill set, and they show different instances of her working to it, and the bar is so low in the beginning.
She had an ego I didn't feel she deserved.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
And she learned to hunt rabbits by flinging her axe at stationary targets.
Yes.
Like she should be decent. She should be a decent hunter.
And then she John Wick's 6 trappers in like one.
If she's gonna kill like an alien killing machine, like she has to be competent. And like what I'm saying, like she's struggling with bunnies, like everyone like clowns on her, and then I'm just supposed to believe that she just does like a Goku Super Saiyan transformation, and then suddenly like kills this alien.
I mean,
it's
it
like
would have
ridiculous.
been cool if they framed it in a way that made it look like all of her wins were complete luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been better.
But
seriously.
it was credited to her
Or wit.
competence.
They did go out of their way to not make her look like a Mary Sue in the hunting aspect of it, but it's when she randomly started just mowing down dudes. I'm like,
well, in the hunting part, she still walked away with 3 dead bunnies.
Yeah.
So.
She beat up she beat up the one dude in her tribe, like embarrassed the dude. I'm like,
dude, that
she
was
should
insane. It literally could never happen.
Yes. And all those dudes. Also, I felt like they casted the slightest, most like non-threatening people in the world.
When in reality, I'm sure with the lifestyle these people led, they would be much stronger and more resilient.
Yeah. And like I said, it's weird how two-dimensional and bad they made all of the tribes, the male members of the tribe look. Like embarrassingly two-dimensional. Like if they had if they had either taken her away so that she wasn't around them or actually made them likable people, you might actually felt like she would care when they died, but she didn't care when they died because they were
except for her brother. She only mourned the loss of her brother when in reality all of these people would have family members back home.
Yeah, and there was no emotional resonance there. Even when she was in danger, maybe it's just me, but I did not feel like the terror she should be feeling at seeing a huge alien murder a freaking bear. Like that was the only time her fear looked genuine on her face. The rest of the time, I never felt like I saw that emotion on her face. When she said the line, "I'm smarter than a beaver," I almost turned it off.
I was so pissed.
And that I feel like what the critique that you guys were saying is a common issue with like girl boss movies, where the movie is just so focused on like making her look like awesome and badass that they completely take away any humanity from the character or any relatableness.
If she had actual motives from the beginning that felt human and not girl boss 2021 Yas Queen Slay, then
that's what I'm saying.
Also, her brother held her back in a way that seemed more compassionate than trying to lord over her that he was more accomplished.
Yeah.
He could have said, well, you could have taken it out, but you failed.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
The brother was the infinitely better character, in my opinion.
He was like, we did it, even though he was the one who single-handedly did it.
Yeah. So,
but it angered her anyway because her character is selfish. I don't think that aging her up would have solved that problem. Just making her a more mature person, as mature as probably a teenager in that time of history and that upbringing would have been.
Yeah.
Rather than with the maturity of a modern day teenager.
She's behaving like a petulant mid-adult. Like we talk about adults being suspended in childhood nowadays. Like she felt like a petulant young adult fighting back just to fight back.
And that's even worse in this particular role that she's trying to play, because their tribe is removed from society, right? Like they don't, like she doesn't know Beyonce's latest song, you know, like she doesn't know that all the single ladies to the left or whatever. So it's like the fact that a society that's isolated from absolutely everyone, and she still is like petulant, has no freaking concept of her tribe or care of what happens to any of them.
Technically, her leaving to go hunt out of spite got all those tribesmen killed.
It's very incongruently individualistic for what her motivations really would have been in that culture.
To survive and to help to protect the tribe.
It's not... Yeah, for all of the talk about representation, this is a fail.
Yes.
And that's why, like, we can't, like, for the love of movies, we just can't accept, like, a meh rating for this. Like, this is a bad movie. And so, like, I was watching this movie, and I was like, dear God, like, the Rotten Tomatoes is supposed to be, like, a negative score. And when I checked the Rotten Tomatoes, I was astounded by the rating. Because this movie is super positively rating. Mm-hmm. I think it had, like, a 92%, like... higher. Critics and 80% like audience score.
I'm guessing that a lot of the people look, the 2018 Predator movie is reviled by most people, so I think anyone basically thought, like, as long as it's better than the 2018 Shane Black Predator movie, they just, you know.
Is this I think the 7th installment in the franchise?
I don't know how many there's
it's either 6th or 7th from what I was looking at. I would have expected people who were invested in it would hate it.
Yep.
But I saw a lot of negative reviews too, and they were all basically saying this is incredibly hard to believe, unrealistic. Mary Sue.
I don't think she's a Mary Sue. It's not like she was perfect at hunting every time. She's absolutely overpowered amongst other humans.
Can you define Mary Sue for the chat?
It's almost worse than a Mary Sue because she's incompetent and proud of herself.
So to me, it's the lack of. I think. I talk a lot about likability. Like I say, people don't care if Gal Gadot is a bad actress because she's so likable and she has a warmth.
Smile.
She has a warmth to her. If this character was allowed to show an ounce of humility, an ounce of regret over what has happened to her tribesmen, rather than being other than her brother, but like, or had even second guessed her own actions once, maybe I missed that. Like I'm saying, like I had a very hard time getting through this movie.
No, because when she's carrying back the Predator's head, she throws it down and it's like, how do you like me now? Like, and it has nothing to do with who she might have saved.
Maybe she should have brought her brother's body back.
I think
right.
to make the performance better, like perhaps, okay, so they beat her up and they bullied her. So like, even though it's petty of her, it makes a little sense that she like kind of hates him. But like what I think would have been a bit of better acting would have been like, okay, well, at least she's like scared and like disgusted at the carnage that's in front of her, you know? But she just seems to be like, she's always just looking at an opportunity to hit the thing, you know? Like she has no attachment to the people she's grown up with her entire life.
She, the people that like it, that's fine. I think for me, my own bias against knowing that there's Hollywood agenda all over this, I had a hard time getting away from that, and I acknowledge that as kind of a flaw of mine in the process of reviewing this movie, that I was waiting for a little bit of humility, a little bit of warmth from this. Not warmth, that's not even really, like, a little bit of humility in proof that she was more than just... A
little bit of fear.
Yeah. Anything other than just girl boss mode the whole time. And maybe that was there and I just missed it. Like I'm acknowledging that I could have missed that, but it didn't work for me.
To address what Dane said about them bullying her, I don't even think it was that, because if you take into account that they were only reacting so strongly to her going out on her own because they cared about her safety, it makes it so it's even more of a one-sided thing.
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying, like, within her character and within her faults, right? Perhaps it's understandable that she would react that way.
When she says, I'm not a threat and that's what makes me dangerous, that would have meant more if she actually seemed afraid.
As she's been antagonizing the Predator repeatedly, yes. Of course she is a threat.
Yeah, but, like, when she said that, like, if she had shown a little bit of fear in that, or if more emotion was there, I would have bought it more. Also, I laughed when she did the war cry.
No, me too.
That's just me. Like, it just didn't work for me. So, it just didn't work for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that the third one?
It's the second one.
Oh,
that's
okay.
2.
Soon.
Let's do super chats.
Okay. Ted Scannon said you have to review this Sandman from Netflix.
We have a hard time doing shows because it's very difficult to watch. Like, would we do episode reviews? That's always hard because by the time you do all the episode reviews, everyone's already seen the whole thing. But we could maybe do that. Maybe me and you do that as a separate segment. We could do that when you get back from out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there one above Charlie Red?
Charlie Red.
There were several.
I can't scroll up that far. There's been too many people in the chat.
We have... No, Blue Heart was above Charlie Red.
Oh, okay. Charlie Red said soft flour, then pan fried. waffle in a pancake?
Whoa.
Interesting.
How do you do that,
Dang, dude.
though? Someone else said Mary's good twin works for BuzzFeed. That wouldn't be the good twin.
That would be the very, very lame twin.
Jonathan Harris said, no, Mary's twin is on CNN Plus new podcast.
The invisible twin? The invisible twin on the non-existent CNN Plus?
She does not exist.
She does not exist.
Poor thing.
Darius Harvey, thank you again for that.
Yeah,
giant Giga Chad move.
No message.
Not even a message.
That's a real Chad move, honestly. Waffle Sensei said, Hollywood knows not how to show a strong woman except by showing her dunk on weak men. Her motivation is to one-up the men, and her boldness and braveness is just her showing up on the men.
Like I said, all they needed to do was show a little bit of humility and a little bit of fear, and I think it would have gone a long way to make that character a lot better.
And here's the thing, like the best villains typically, and I'm not saying she's a villain, like besides my interpretation of her, but the best villains typically they show you a reason to why they act as so. And like with her, she's just so one-dimensional that you never really see like her
Exactly.
like why does she want this conquest so bad?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like I just want it.
Because I want it. Which
why
is,
does the
okay.
predator want the conquest?
Well, that's like a creature, you know.
I don't
like-
I don't know a ton
Is
about
it
the
completely
lore.
robotic or completely animalistic?
I believe
or
it's
both?
like part of like they're a species of hunters and it's part of their. I don't know the lore. Somebody in here, I'm not going to pretend to know the lore, but there's a
It's
lot
just
of
interesting because he wasn't eating any of what he was killing.
there is a lot of lore behind why the predators hunt, but somebody in the chat would have to
Okay.
read on that one. Ooh, Walker Texas Danger. That is a great screen name.
He said YouTube gave you guys a promotion. They removed the phrase pop culture crisis from prediction in the search bar, at least on the app. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's not good.
Is that not good?
No, they shadow banned pop culture crisis in the search bar. That's what he said.
What? Not for me.
Well, we'll check about
Yeah.
that. I don't know. Maybe it's just your phone. We'll see.
Well, last week we had two videos that got limited ad suitability. One involved
Lauren Souther, I'm guessing.
No, it was the one about
That was a copyright thing. But the recent ones
was the one about climate criminal because it had the term
the word criminal.
No, climate and the other like it had both those words in there. And then the other one, I forget what the other one was, but yeah, like 2 videos in a row, which were both considered limited ad suitability, which were very, very tame in topic.
Blue Heart said, if you guys had to play a role in a movie, what would it look like ideally?
I want to play a coach in an inspirational sports movie.
Oh, that would be cute.
I want to be the Gordon Bombay of a new Minnesota hockey movie. That's what I want.
For me, it's got to be a villain.
Of course.
That's all.
They could maybe make you an anti-hero in the sequel.
Yeah,
Maybe.
a hell of a redemption.
In
arc.
wrestling, they'd call you a tweener.
Oh,
Halfway between
okay.
good guy and bad guy.
Unavailable ID name said, oh wait, Dane, what would you be?
I like
Would you
to
be every woman?
I would play either a villain as well.
Fidel Castro.
I mean, if they'd had them. Or I kind of like the cat. You know, do you guys know who Mercutio is from Romeo and Juliet? So Mercutio is a character. He was basically like the clownish person. He was always like joking around. And by the end, like he got stabbed and he was dying and no one took him seriously. And I think characters like that, they're funny, but when they're having like a serious moment, that people still don't take him seriously because of like their normal jovialness. I think those characters, like, they're usually pretty important in movies and they're hard to convey. So I'd like to have
So you could be the Joker.
I don't like jokers.
Unavailable ID name said, if Predator lost to primitive life on Earth, why would they bother coming back for the later movies? It would have made more sense for her to put up a good fight, but still die, in my opinion.
Yes, I saw a large sentiment that felt like, and I felt like that would have gone like, imagine they'd done the movie the exact same way, but she loses, and all
just
that
fade to black.
all that humility, all that lack of humility, and all that fear is portrayed really well as she's dying. It would have made it extra impactful.
Or they both die.
Maybe. I mean, it would. A lot of people talk about how the predator is built up as this amazing creature, but it keeps losing.
Yeah.
Losing to Arnie, I understand. And Arnie and all his jacked up, special forces soldiers, commandos. That makes sense. This one, I had a hard
If
time
it
with
had been about her brother, she still could have
Yep.
lost the battle, but still mortally wounded it.
Absolutely.
Maybe the movie would have been better if it was like a brother sister thing. Like if it had been like about their relationship and like both of them overcoming.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a better angle.
But,
I'm just like the she-boss thing.
But they would have never gotten that movie made.
Why not? Like
there's already enough heat on Predator because the 2018 Predator is so reviled. Everyone hates that movie. I of course think it's just fine. I love Sterling K. Brown in that movie, and I love Olivia Munn is awful in that movie, but she's in it less than that movie is fine. It's really, really bad, but I was also when we were at dinner the other night, and everyone was talking about the original Tomb Raider movie, and like I was telling everyone how it's a masterpiece. And nobody can ever tell if I'm being 100% serious or not because I'm never going to tell them whether I actually believe it's a masterpiece or if it's just a masterpiece in my eyes.
The inner machinations of your mind are an enigma.
It is an enigma.
Also, the kid said predators don't kill pregnant females. Her ultimate weapon against a predator is her womb, but I'm betting they didn't include that canon.
No, that wouldn't be allowed. Not in today's age because motherhood is not you have to be girl boss who protects the tribe because women. You can't be a mom that protects a child because mom. That's different.
Or she would have done it in a totally like soulless utilitarian way.
Yeah.
If she found out. Ted Scannon said you have to review. Oh, the Sandman comment.
We'll definitely look into that. Tim was saying that he I have a very hard time committing to new shows.
Well, the volume of them is just overwhelming, so I don't know how we would pick.
I like movies more than shows
based on the time commitment it takes.
It's easier.
Get in, loser. We're getting bleeped. Said I like how the predators came back and killed everyone and got the flintlock.
I will say the design of the predator and the helmet was cool. I enjoyed the look of the predator.
I think it was just too human-like.
I liked it.
Halls and the kids said Danny over Arnold. Arnold ran from Predator like a beep.
You leave Arnold alone. Danny Glover's all right, too, though. It's fine.
Unavailable ID name said Dane is 100%. 100% what?
100% going to get to a third crisis party if we keep...
Jonathan Harris said Predators are just aliens on an old-school safari.
Interesting. That's surprisingly accurate.
This is mean, but Badav said Dane would play young Harvey Weinstein.
Okay, well, rude.
That's mean.
How
you don't look like that, I promise.
You do not. You do not. You don't look anything like that.
Thanks.
All right. We are going to move on. I'm glad that we got that done with because I had a hard time articulating what it was about that bothered me. We're going to talk about Kim Kardashian. It may seem stupid talking about Kim Kardashian.
It's never stupid.
It's not.
She is the puppet master of pop culture.
And what happened was Kim Kardashian broke up with Pete Davidson. I don't really care about that.
I care.
I care about Kanye West being...
Down with Pete Davidson.
I care about Kanye West being a meme lord and an expert in pettiness.
I just want to say, for the record, we know that Kim dumped Pete, not the other way around. And it definitely wasn't a mutual decision.
Nope.
This guy takes what he can get. And also, I'm so glad that he's permanently branded with her name on his chest and also the initials of all of her children.
The initials of the children is super creepy now.
Either he's going to be stuck with those for life or he's going to get them lasered off.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the consequences of either one.
I mean, is that like now? Like, there's this hilarious tattoo, like this meme. It's like a picture. It's like a woman's got her grandmother tattooed right here, and the guy's like, "How am I supposed to, when like your grandma's literally staring at me?"
I mean, good luck with getting a new GF, Pete. You have Kim Kardashian tattooed on your chest,
and the kids' initials. That's that. Oh. Darius Harvey is in for the win today to give Dane.
Oh.
We're going to get to 4, yo.
Hello. Thank you, Darius Harvey.
Eat your heart out, Hannah Claire.
No. Only if we get to 6 do you get to say that.
6?
5 is her record.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think you got the legs for it, to be completely honest.
I'm on the feet of giants, apparently.
So, first, before we talk about this, let's show them the picture that Kanye posted today. It's incredible. Like
are we allowed to talk about what's on the bottom?
I think
the
we
picture?
have to. We can show it. I don't think we can mention it. If you guys don't know what we're talking about,
this is your homework for after the show.
Yes.
Take a very close look at what's on the bottom of this newspaper.
So first we're gonna do this. a fake New York Times article that Kanye posted that says Skeet Davidson dead at age 28. I thought he was 29. I could be wrong.
I think it's 28.
This means that Kim Kardashian is no longer the honorary queen of Staten Island.
That's such a hilarious diss.
It is. So, if you look down at the bottom now, I don't know if you guys follow Kanye very much. I love Kanye. He's a national treasure on the level of Chet
Bro, how are you
Hanks.
gonna ask me that?
I'm saying I was more asking the ether.
I see.
Okay.
The ether.
Okay. So, if you look down here at the bottom, I'm going to go to the next one. It says Kid Cudi meant to play funeral but fearful of bottle throwers.
And then also look below that. We can't say that part out loud.
I can zoom in.
Let's let you do the work of deciphering what that says.
Kanye is such a.
I know that Kanye didn't make this himself, so I want to know who's on his team that's doing this.
Dude, just like he got basically told by his ex-wife, like, please stop being, you're being all rude, like this.
He is a man scorned. Does he not have the rights?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm in love with this man, baby, and you just gotta respect it. That it's gonna raise your children now. And like this guy like tattoos his children's name on his body, and this didn't even last a year, Buckaroo.
No.
So it's like, so like you permanently marked your body.
To be fair, he has a Hillary Clinton tattoo, so his decision.
Maybe he doesn't take it that seriously.
Is already.
I mean, he
but
obviously
also,
doesn't.
it wasn't just the tattoos, but the way that he almost was bragging, like, I'm in your wife's bed,
Yeah.
I'm in your home, I'm with your children, had North like sitting on his lap when he had only just met the girl.
Yep.
That's not normal. I'm sure it made the whole family uncomfortable. It's strange behavior. It's mentally unstable behavior. I just think he's a bad guy.
He seems like a very, very spiteful, immature person. It says Pete Davidson wore a T-shirt with a cryptic message a day after announcing his split from Kim Kardashian.
He seems like a threatened person, and Kanye is not that.
He says, Kanye feels very alpha to me, like in his relationships, like.
And that doesn't come at the expense of being heartfelt, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, like he's absolutely emotionally volatile at times. Absolutely emotionally volatile. He's not a stoic. Let's put it that way.
Kim is the stoic. I think she looks for men who are a lot less stable than her, so she can kind of feel like she's in control, and I hate that. Aspect of it.
Would the charitable definition be like she's a bleeding heart that wants to add stability to their life?
I mean, it looks like, oh, I can save him, but what it really is I can put a leash on him.
Oh my god!
No
matter who it is.
I bet you that's a trope that just dies due to the narcissism of the age we live in. That nobody wants to save another person; they just want to control them.
Right, and that's what I see, especially because it's public information that. Kanye can be emotionally volatile. I think he has bipolar disorder, and Pete has borderline personality disorder, which has an insecure attachment style where he's like obsessed with not losing her.
Also, remember that Kanye was shamed for his condition endlessly by society, which is very, very frustrating.
Yeah, well, her relationship with Pete was praised from day one.
Celebrated.
Yeah.
From day one. So it says he was wearing a new shirt. It says, "What I feel like," S, his shirt said. So there was also a really funny article that I didn't even pull up from the Daily Mail where it says, like, Pete Davidson looks forlorn at Target days after.
I mean, he always is looking forlorn and is dressed badly. But I just think whatever reaction he has serves him right.
But to your point about, like, the difference in coverage. So, like, Kanye... Lo hicimos!
Thank you.
Dana's very happy.
Yes!
Look how happy he is.
The curse has been lifted! Thank you, everyone.
That was number 3?
That was number 3.
Awesome.
So, to explain... Back to my point. To explain, like, the difference in coverage. So, Kanye was, like, basically reprimanded for being sad about his marriage failing and for wanting to make it work.
Yeah.
And now, like, the article coverage is like, oh, like, don't bully Kim because, like, her relationship with a man-child, like, went sour. It's like, why does she get not even praise, but, like, understanding for having pretty much like an ill-fitted relationship. And yet he is a man who's trying to make his relationship work because of his values and because everything he's constructed with his wife, you know, like just
and
because
he's now vindicated in all of his suspicion
Yeah.
of Pete
Yep.
the whole time.
Well, I mean, from what I can see, the relationship just didn't work out. It's not like Pete did something untoward. It's just she was dating an adult man-child.
While they were still dating,
Yeah.
not because they broke up. I have no idea why they chose to break up.
But-
Probably because Kim saw no depth in Pete beyond her PR tool.
Yep. Or the funnier version would be that she asked him to be on the Kardashians, and he said no, and she's like, "Well, bye then."
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Dude, I saw like a bit of that show, and that show is all stunning. It's just like them constantly talking about their beefs. It's like, we got to keep it private, guys. We only
As the
talk.
camera's filming.
Yeah,
them.
literally. It's like, we only talk about this in family. Chloe, you are a whore.
It's like
what?
It's like the meme. It's like the memes about like a guy on Survivor starving to death, and it shows like it cuts to a cameraman and he's eating a Subway sandwich while he's filming the guy starving to death.
They don't actually do that in Survivor. In Survivor, like the crew also is limited to like rations of food.
So never
wow.
take that job. Holy crap! Like no.
Bring
no.
me Jeff. Jeff, I'll starve.
Just brings up the tension for everyone.
The camera's all super shaky
Yeah.
because the guy's blood sugar's just plummeting, and he like.
I hope they have bigger rations than
they eat more,
contestants.
but they purposely like they're not eating like caviar. You know what I'm saying? Like they're eating like rations of food like while filming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I mean, like, if there's one thing I liked about getting to do like commercials or filming for like big companies with like the trays of food on break. Let's go.
I was a production assistant, so I would have to go get the things. So
No.
I'm not as fond. And I,
not as fond of memories.
yeah, and when you're a PA, you only eat like the leftovers. You get that that little triangle sandwich that's like kind of like torn apart that nobody wanted. You know who had it? Dane Font.
I mean, I was I did camera work, so that's not much better, but still got a decent amount of actual food.
Yeah, I was coffee bitch, pretty much.
Dane, you were just bringing coffee back and forth.
Café, senor. Like that was pretty much me.
Please tell me you said it that exact way.
Not with that accent, but basically café, senor. Like
So,
literally.
The question is, guys, do we get to prove the society wrong? We got Ben Affleck and J-Lo back together. You know what this means.
Kim Ye.
Kim Ye.
No.
Back together.
Please.
Let's
I don't
No.
No,
No,
I don't even
Kanye.
care that she doesn't deserve him. Like, they still should be together.
Kanye, you've learned that apparently your ex-wife is clonable.
play the song "Stay Together" for the kids, like in the background. Literally in the background.
Too late. Too late. Like their kids are probably already. I mean, yeah, for the kids, but cheat on her
What?
right now before
No.
everything happens.
Oh,
Before
He
everything
read the-
happens.
He's like, I read the room wrong. Quick,
Oh,
fix it,
shit.
fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it.
He's walking.
You know what?
in
I won't
back.
fix it. Okay. She broke it off.
I mean, I still think that it's hypocritical for Kanye to be publicly scrutinizing Kim's relationships while he's in a bunch of questionable relationships of his own.
I mean, he's
Totally.
just dating weird Kim clones that like.
Well, not just Kim clones. I mean, Julia Fox isn't a Kim clone, but he dated her.
Let's be fair. It's not like any of those look like they were serious.
yeah, that was
no,
like
they
a
weren't. They
fraction
weren't
of a
serious,
second.
but being with Pete wasn't serious, and
But
he
it was- but
scrutinized
they-
that relationship a lot more than he had any right to. I think.
Yeah, but they wanted you to believe that the Kim and they're like, are they
they
gonna
were
have
meant to
kids?
be together.
Yeah, like that. That's different.
it was
Kanye's
Megan
like,
Fox and MGK twin flame energy.
Kanye's like, I'm rich and famous and good looking.
Wait,
and
are
I'm
they
gonna-
done?
And I'm gonna.
No, they're not done, but I cannot wait. I cannot.
Yeah, that's like pending, right?
wait. It's on the way.
For sure.
Can't wait.
Just so if not Kanye, then whom?
What do you
That
mean?
Kim goes next.
Aren't you single?
Yes.
Are you not?
I'm just saying.
My DMs are open, Kim.
Popular host of the world's greatest pop culture show.
Who out of everyone here, nobody champions Kim more than me. So
That is
frankly-
true.
Frankly, Kim, my DMs are open.
Brett Sims for Kim, like on the scenes and behind the scenes. I'll have you know.
Just a little bit.
Is she your type?
I don't have a singular type, but
She's kind of the type right now.
her ability
Succubuses?
her ability to manipulate both man and society through PR is impressive. And,
It is impressive.
Evil genius.
And
is
I
your
kind
type.
of like the evil genius. Let's go.
I don't even think she's so smart as she is just like able to craft words really well.
She can be stoic around me anytime.
Aw.
Let's do super chat.
Okay. On that note.
Chris
said Mary's twin is actually on Timcast. She only ends up on the show because Tim accidentally releases her from the basement.
Oh, I hate
it's
it when
the attic.
I hate it when that happens.
Blue Heart said, time to remove the Kardashians from pop culture.
Yeah, good luck
is
with
that.
that.
Even possible?
Okay, here's the thing.
Only if they get supplanted by another family. And who will that be?
Like, a lot of times early on when we were doing this podcast, I would hate covering that stuff because it always seems so frivolous and stupid to me. But at the same time, I kind of find them like fascinating as far as like what they represent to different groups in society, and covering them in this context always makes for like anybody can laugh and joke about this stuff. But like when you really think about the effect that they've had on society through their, every single one of the women in that family are sex symbols in their own right. What they've done for the idea of motherhood, having surrogates and non-traditional families, whether you think it's good or bad, they've had a tremendous influence on society.
Yeah,
what
it's just
they've
a matter
done to
of
meld social media with the mainstream celebrities.
For all her faults, Kim is genuinely a public relations savant.
She is.
She's think of all the things that she's gone viral. She had the one champagne thing on her butt that went viral.
Broke the internet.
She broke the internet. I didn't even know that was possible.
She made the phrase. Isn't that phrase?
Yes.
That wasn't it with her? Breaking the internet?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
I find them fascinating, even though it's sometimes I have to reach for meaning
because those are the people that ordinary people use as like an example to mythologize their own life.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if that makes any sense. Darius Harvey said that movie sounds horrible. So what does Pete do with the tattoos?
Now what he needs to do is he needs to like.
Can he adapt them into something else without getting rid of them?
An expert, like he changes the last name to like something other than Kardashian, like.
Or it could just say Kim Kardashian is
dumb.
I
didn't like her anyways.
I didn't like Kim Kardashian anyways.
I was gonna break up with her first.
By the way, but before we briefly,
I dumped Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, okay.
Just change history.
So he had the shirt of a cockroach because, like, apparently, like he
getting dumped by Kim Kardashian is extremely Kafka-esque.
Chat, please explain to me how getting dumped by literally, please explain to me how getting dumped by Kim Kardashian is Kafka-esque.
I would love him to start posting a bunch of Kafka or like Bukowski quotes now on his social
really
media
deep.
For like the next 6 months. He just gets really emo.
I think that the I dumped Kim Kardashian thing is obligatory. Just rewrite history on your own body.
They do that all the time anyways.
Yeah.
Just rewrite history.
Unavailable ID name said Dane 100% right about the Mercutio characters. Did I say that right?
Mercutio, yeah. I just say it more sassy.
Goofer Trooper said, I finally made it to a show with Dave.
We love you, Dave.
Welcome,
what a
boy.
treat.
And we love you, Goofy Trooper.
I love you, my child.
Terrence Rice said, the relationship was jinxed the second he got those tats. Who does that? I've been with the same woman for 10 years and just know.
What they need to do is they need to make like a Disney movie where he gets the tattoos and it becomes cursed, and he has to like go on an adventure to remove the curse from his tattoos.
Also, like, I'm sure the kids are lovely, but like, am I supposed to believe that within like a month of dating, like your attachment to these children that are not yours is so vast that you're like, I must make a symbol for them on my body forever?
And then he was also vaguely saying, I want to be a dad.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I meant by saying like
back off.
The public took that seriously, as if anybody actually believed that.
Yeah. Not sure I want to read that, but sorry. Tyler Hogue said, hello, all you gorgeous people. Hope you all had a great weekend.
Thanks, bro.
Well, we hope you had a great weekend as well, Tyler.
Jonathan.
How was your weekend?
It was good.
What'd you do?
I went, I don't know if I can say.
Okay.
Well,
you did something you can't talk about.
Okay.
I guess
That
so.
sounds even more intriguing.
I ate a
so-
lot of food.
Perfect. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
She
forgot.
reported to the federal agencies.
I guess you said no to that.
I did.
There was a get together and Brett didn't want to come. So sad.
I spent the weekend. Dane's like, "What'd you do this weekend?" I'm like, "I did literally nothing. I
good
skated
for
three.
you.
Beautiful.
I skated 3 times on Saturday and twice on Sunday. And on Saturday, I was like, I looked at the clock. I'm like, haven't done anything yet. So they want to go do something? No.
I
no,
did
it's
chores.
the weekend. Every once in a while, you need to disconnect.
Oh, I also went to church and bleached my hair.
I was amazed how often you have to bleach your hair. Like, that sounds like such a process to have to do
It
that
is.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Ugh. A lot of work.
Jonathan Harris said that's just the Kardashian way. Kylie and Travis.
Yes.
What about Kylie and Travis? Did they ever break up?
I think they're still together, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he just do his first live performance since Astroworld? Like his first.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
headline?
think they've ever broken up. Goofer Trooper said, before I leave, Ben Affleck was a great Batman for the Dark Knight Returns type. Post Robin dying and getting older, more violent and less hopeful.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was that. It was not. This was not Batman in the City. We have to remember, it's like when Bale played him, he had to play him from. Like they had to hilariously try to make Christian Bale look younger in the first one. They basically did that by giving him a Beatles haircut. Like they give him this really awful almost bowl cut, and they're like, oh, it's like he's in college. I'm like, yeah, like med school maybe. Like he's 30
Before they had the technology
Yeah.
they do now.
You know what, Brett? Whatever makes you sleep at night. Honestly,
well,
at
yeah.
this point,
Being right does help with that. Yes.
I bet.
Yesh said, would you say no tats are based?
Well, yes.
I have 3. So
Having no tats is based, I
am.
would say.
I am without tat.
I am with tats. I have one for each of us.
Perfect.
Shards of Narsil said, hey Mary, I know you haven't watched much anime, but give Death Note a shot. Since you have a strong moral compass, it dealing with the question of do the ends justify the means may appeal to you.
That is the most not that you're a normie, but that is the most non-anime normie friendly anime of all. 100%. 100%.
Why is that?
Because the spectacular elements are very little, and it doesn't have the cringe that really gets people off anime, which is the girls oh my god, kawaii. It has a little bit of that. It's still Japan, but the premise of just to give the premise real quick, the premise of the story is a kid finds a notebook that when you write someone's name in it, they get a heart attack.
Okay.
And they die. And so basically
I had a vague notion of that.
Right. And so it's even if you use it to kill bad people, quote unquote, do the ends justify the means. And then you see his evolution as a human being from his first to all the series of kills he does.
Mm-hmm. I almost thought it was just overhyped and I didn't want to give it a try, but
It is
I might
really
watch
good.
it.
It is really good.
Unavailable ID name said R.I.P. Olivia Newton-John.
She did. She passed away. I just looked it up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I know that they're remaking Grease right now. I believe they're in the process of that. So.
F's in chat, please.
Yep.
Bad App said Tim should make a dating show with all the fans.
That sounds like a horribly that
They
sounds
already
like
made Love After Lockup.
Yeah,
They don't
dude.
need us.
sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. My
Hard
friends.
pass.
They already made Undateables. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no! I bet you're all beautiful.
You're all the prize.
I would star in Undateables. That's what.
No.
Let's
No,
go.
Brett.
Let's
that.
go.
No.
Let's go.
Chat, send for Brett a little.
Like a Love Island at the castle. Hate that.
Laguna Beach.
It's alright. It is that.
Waffles Sensei said Brett's type is cute and willing. No emphasis on the cute part. JK, love ya, Brett. Just shit posting my way to get us to 5 crisis parties.
Look, Kim is not cute and willing. Kim is cute and tells you what to do.
Thank you. Number 4.
Number 4, Dane is now.
Can a man?
A simple call to action, and they just mobilize.
Can
It's
a man
crazy.
dream of 5?
Can you picture?
Oh
no.
yeah,
Can
and
you
he
picture,
he can dream of 6.
I imagine Hannah Claire's downstairs
She's writhing.
She pulls the internet connection out from the wall. She's not on my watch.
What if Hannah Claire's is Darius Harvey? She's just spreading the love around.
That would be impressive.
I choose to think more positively.
Jimmy Bags 86 said, "Mary, which historical Mary do you most relate to?" That's Queen Mary of England, of course. Bloody Mary. And I'm not saying I'm a violent person,
But
she's an interesting person, and she had her reasons and her motivations that I believe were understandable, and there are some sympathetic aspects to her if you look into her story.
I can't think of any Marys off the top of my head except for like the one, that really horrible CW show Reign, which had Mary Queen of Scots and had the really, really smoking hot girl who played her.
How many Marys are there?
Adeline Kane.
I don't know.
Smoking hot.
But that's my answer now.
I would say Smoke Show, but Chet would get angry.
Dude, I gotta have a chat with Chet about Smoke Show. Smoke Show's pretty awesome. I like Smoke Show.
I have nothing wrong with Smoke Show.
I don't either. I don't know why he had such a problem with that.
I think we can turn him.
I think he's being.
There's probably some deep personal history about why he doesn't like Smoke Show.
He was probably feeling contrarian that day.
The Smoke Show that got away.
Yeah.
You know, we've all had him.
There's a pro wrestler named Scarlett Bordeaux who her Instagram story or like thing lists her as Pro Wrestling's official Smoke Show. Maybe he like slid into her DMs and she said, "No, I'm getting married again."
Never again.
Never again.
Goofer Trooper said, Brett, finally look at the memes I send your Insta.
If it ends up in, I'll check. It might be in like the what do you call it? Like the
request? The
request thing. Like my Instagram's a mess. I'll check it out.
Yeah, you don't volunteer to look at your DM requests unless absolutely necessary.
Like that's where a lot of like the like, do you want followers stuff goes to. So like I hate that.
For me, it's like where the craziest of the crazy.
They're like,
are.
Oh yeah, we've seen them.
Well,
They're pretty wild.
A lot of it for me, it's like people who I don't know if it's got to do with like because they're like based on how many like mutual followers you have. Like I don't know what qualifies something to end up in your requests rather than just messages.
If you follow each other.
So if they follow you, it'll go to regular requests.
Yeah.
But if
you don't follow them back, it'll be in requests. Okay. No matter what.
Well, then all of them should go to requests for me because I don't message a lot of people that I follow. I don't message a lot of people, period.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, tattooing your girlfriend's kids' initials on your body after only a few months? Red flags.
5 red flags.
Immediate grounds for breakup.
But
she didn't even break up with him.
She's probably a genius. And she's just like, you know what? That's very reactionary. I'll wait a couple months.
She probably said the expiration.
She probably had.
She is ice cold. If you touched her, it's just no blood.
She probably wrote when she was going to break up to him in like a date book, and then like remembered to do it like 3 months later. She's like,
oh, there it is on my schedule.
It's right there on my schedule. Got to break up with Pete today.
Next to like her brand deals for the day.
He got an automated email like, congratulations.
Oh my God,
this relationship has expired.
Your free trial.
If you would like to submit an appeal, click this link.
And it's like a form letter to like to her website. It's freaking incredible.
She's like the new J-Lo with all the breakups.
A-Rod.
But J-Lo seems like more of a nice person.
Hell no.
No?
Hell no.
I don't know. Jonathan Harris said that was in response to Kardashians wanting men they can fix / put a leash on.
She should make her own remix of the song "Put a Ring on It" and have it called "Put a Leash on It." Let's go.
Hate that. Rhaegar, asker of what a recession is, says, while on deployment in Australia, a guy in our department got dumped by his girlfriend for cheating and got a tattoo of her portrait to win her back.
Oh my
she didn't take him back. We told him not to do it.
You did your part, man. You did your part.
Just don't get tattoos for other people. No. Don't do that.
Some people do like the wedding ring. If they're married, they do the wedding ring.
But even that can go sour. So it's like, you just don't.
Plus, you
can't
do it. You can't sell it after the fact.
Just get tattoos to look sexy.
And you can't dramatically throw it in a river.
It's like the. I don't know if any of you guys know who Mitch Hedberg is, but he has a bit where he talks about he's like never get into an argument in a tent because when you get out, you have to dramatically close the tent flap. Yeah.
Tyler Hogue said, bro, talking about Batman, give me a Batman under the Red Hood live action. Bro, Red Hood, my favorite.
Yeah, they could absolutely do. That's one of my favorite animated DCs. I would like to see David Giantoli play Red Hood from the show Grimm. Fantastic. His wife is currently plays Lois Lane on Superman and Lois. So
okay. Taryn Jones said, I imagine Dane with a super sense that every time Brett mentions Ben Affleck as Batman, no matter where Dane is, he feels the disturbance in the force.
The disturbance of his wrongness.
He's just like, why do I feel so angry all of a sudden? Why do I want to like punch a wall?
Listen, guys, I love Brett. I'm just trying to guide them to the right path. I'm sure you understand.
I mean, he's wrong, but that's fine. We love each other. It's okay.
Unavailable ID names said we need a Timcast show for anime. Anime and gaming go well together. Not always.
He's not wrong. Like one of the things that I've pushed consistently is that gaming is a huge marketplace. Anime is a large marketplace. You could almost even like with the right people make those separate shows.
Guys, 2/3 of company decisions get made when Tim reads a super chat. So literally, if you want this, just super chat Timcast IRL, and it literally might happen overnight.
Yeah. The idea behind like the gaming, like a gaming related news channel similar to this would be a fantastic idea. I'm just not because I'm not a modern gamer. I wouldn't be the person to host that, and we've got we've already got our like corner of culture.
Yeah,
here,
and it fits into the show sometimes, but not always because it is still entertainment.
Basically what it is. I asked Dane, I'm like, go forth and find me video game stuff to talk about, and then let him lead that discussion, and that's always fun.
I feel if there were like niche shows like that, it might disincentivize us from covering those topics ever, and I don't think that would be a good thing either.
Agreed.
Goofer Trooper said, I've also sent Mary cat memes. Sad face.
It's definitely.
I don't know if or it says pensive face actually. I don't know if I've seen those, but
I'm gonna check after this. I'm gonna check the request box. It's got to have ended up in there because I hate the little number of like red number.
Yeah.
I hate the red number. It's like I hate
the
it.
red number.
I hate that thing. So yeah, I'm not getting it. I will check.
Dude, I get so many notifications as like the social media manager for literally everything. I'm just like so dead to it. It's like whatever.
Semi-articulate female said, I want to know how the PC police missed the cowboy little person in my band. Best film clip of 2004, hands down. Sorry it's late.
Oh my gosh. I wish we could watch that on stage, like on camera right now, but we can't listen to an Eminem song and not get in trouble. So.
But it's a treasure for the culture, for sure.
For the culture, my friends.
Blue Heart said, I really like escalators. They can never be broken. Yep. They can only become stairs.
Mitch Hedberg, yep. Escalators, temporarily stairs.
Jonathan Harris said, so all it will take is to give the mean Beanie Man money and he'd make a gaming channel? A Timcast G4 TV?
Well, hopefully not.
Not current day.
Not current day G4 TV.
What's current day G4
Oh
TV?
my God. It's basically like a struggle session. It's just a bunch of like... I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah, that's for another day.
I will have to get too descriptive if you know what I mean.
Okay.
All right, Mary, I want you to lead discussion on Britney Spears.
Sure. So, Kevin Federline, Britney Spears' technical second husband, just did an interview with the Daily Mail that is going to go to ITV this week. I'm anticipating it. I'm excited to watch it because you can't really get across the tone that he has in the interview until you hear it yourself. But he's revealed a lot about their life post-divorce, co-parenting, during the conservatorship, after it was over.
Does the term co-parenting always seem weird to you? Because like,
of course,
in an age like there was a time when divorce was so much less common that you just never would hear the term co-parent. It was just parenting. Co-parent insinuates divorced parenting.
Right, yeah. Which never used to be such a common thing. Wait, did you need to...
No, go ahead.
What were you saying?
I was looking at the super chat. I don't know what that currency is, and it's incredible.
It's
okay.
Indonesian rupiah.
No, thank you.
But one of the things that Kevin Federline has revealed is that her two sons with him, Jaden and Sean Preston,
age 16 and 15.
Yeah, yep. 16 and 15 have not seen her or been around her for months, and that is why they decided not to attend her wedding to Sam Asghari that was in June, was it?
Yes. This headline is all you need to know. It says Britney Spears' exes says her sons find her nude selfies tough to deal with.
And that was just the clickbait part of it. But
yes.
I think if you read the overall article and the the subjects of the interview, it's actually pretty sad.
But he comes off very smart.
He comes off very level-headed and
measured and adult.
Right.
When
and
Kevin Federline is the voice of reason in your relationship.
Then again, you can seem like the reasonable party and like Kim Kardashian might and still not be well-meaning. I have no idea.
I think just the fact that he's been married now for 9 years stuck with me. Like, he clearly moved on and had to become and she got stuck in this kind of loop of I guess if we call it abuse, if you consider the conservatorship abuse, a lot of people did. My opinion is, without knowing more about the personal situation, I err on the side of she should be allowed to make her own choices, and that means also making her own mistakes. But
I think certainly in the beginning of the conservatorship, there might have been an immediate positive effect to her having someone else take control, and I don't think that she was in a state to have custody of her children at the time.
But making her work was a problem.
Making her work during the conservatorship and then have that money go to her conservators, obviously a problem. And then also having it extended for 13 years is suspicious, and Kevin Federline has admitted as much. He doesn't think that it was a good idea for it to last that long.
I think she had a reasonable clap back to him as well, because he was like, well, you're not a great example. And she said, 15 years of you basically not holding a job is not a good example either. And it's true that.
That's true.
And the way that their relationship started was he already had a baby on the way with another woman.
Yep.
And she had just gotten her divorce from Jason Alexander, who she was only married to for 72 hours. So it's two people who clearly make impulsive decisions, getting into this whirlwind relationship, getting married very quickly, having kids, and then the consequences follow.
Does that stuff always you hear about those types of romances all the time? I'm far too cautious of a person to ever I understand a lot of people act more impulsively, but that stuff always kind of shocks me that people then wonder afterwards, why didn't it work out? Oh my God, what a shock. It didn't work out. When the red flags are literally everywhere, all over.
Yeah. And that's celebrities and ordinary people.
Yeah.
I just think there's a type of person that they want to make the mistake. They want to suffer the consequence. They want the boo-hoo me. And a lot of her, I feel like her life was so orchestrated that
Yeah, I suppose it feels like you're taking your power back.
Right. She's like, I want to make my own mistakes, even if they're catastrophic.
I just think if your kids are involved and they're so disturbed by the direction your life is going in that they can't be around you and they can't attend this wedding to this new man who is only 28 years old, I think that's a point where you should be reevaluating and not defending yourself on social media.
Yeah.
So I'll just read what Sam Asghari said in retaliation to this interview. He said, "There's not validity to his statement regarding the kids distancing themselves, and it's irresponsible to make that statement publicly. The boys are very smart and will be 18 soon, to a father who hasn't worked much in over 15 years as a role model." Brittany said, "It saddens me to hear that my ex-husband has decided to discuss the relationship between me and my children.
That part,
as we all know, raising teenage boys is never easy for anyone. It concerns me the fact that the reason is based on my Instagram. It was long before Instagram. I gave them everything. Only one word, hurtful. I'll say it. My mother told me you should give them to their dad. I'm sharing this because I can. Have a good day, folks." And then all the rest of what Sam Asghari said, I think, was really impulsive and, I guess, below the belt.
Yeah.
He said about the fact that Kevin Federline still gets child support from Brittany. "Kevin's gravy train will end soon, which probably explains the timing of these hurtful statements. I do not know him personally and have nothing against him aside him deciding to vilify my wife. His character is revealed by approval of the cruel 13-year conservatorship, and his loyalty to Jamie, her dad, indicates his approval at the time of its conception as well. Things that are now considered normal issues in behavior easily dealt with in therapy or other ways were magnified to justify a 13-year sentence. I will not comment on this matter except to say I have a job. But for now, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I could push back on that and say he provides a better example of what of somebody who got married and stayed married and had
That's
a stable
totally
relationship. Like,
yeah,
yes.
and he also did say that 13 years is too long.
Yeah.
But does that exclude his past proclivities? Like, sure, like
He
the
learned
third
from his
time,
mistakes and got married and now has been married for almost 10 years. That's
I know, but like he had hella mistakes though, is what I'm saying. And it's like, and now he's like a moral paragon. Like, sorry, miss me with that, chief. Like, I don't know.
he's not speaking for all of
Well,
humanity.
what do you think of the decision to go to the Daily Mail and start talking about this?
That part I
Yeah,
like.
it's
Because he's saying, well, if there were anything I could say to get through to Brittany, then I would say it. But it feels like I'm running out of options. And she won't listen and go in a different direction.
So he says, this whole thing has been hard to watch, harder to live through, harder to watch my boys go through than anything else, he says. It's been tough. It's the most challenging thing I've ever had to do in my life. And then there have been numerous parenting challenges throughout the ongoing Britney saga. Following her release from her conservatorship last year, the 40-year-old star has remained the center of global attention and has taken to posting nude selfies on social media at the time. Kevin says he felt compelled to apologize to the boys for any flack they might experience as a result. He insists the boys love their mother, saying, I try to explain to them, look, maybe that's just another way she tries to express herself, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, of what it does to them. It's tough, he adds. I can't imagine how it feels to be a teenager having to go to high school.
And I won't lie, the comments from Sam Asghari have a Pete Davidson vibe.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, isn't that the new husband?
intrusive. Yeah, but
I mean,
this is her third marriage.
Kevin Federline has more of a right to
he's
talk on
far
this than
younger
Sam
than
Asghari
her.
does.
He is not close to her sons. He's implying that they're not making the decision for themselves and that their father made the decision for them, when it seems from the interview that it's Federline's goal to eventually have a unified family. And then he's speaking on this family that he's not acquainted with. That's far more presumptuous than anything I think kind of Kevin Federline said in his interview.
Right, we're all presuming like intentions for everyone, so like because like we don't know like the connection that he has to the kids. We don't know we don't even know if the kids like Kevin Federline. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know anything about the family. All I'm saying is that I would defend my wife. You know, like perhaps I wouldn't make the statements that he's making, but regardless, I would defend my wife. You know,
sure, but he's doing so by making these cheap shots
I understand, but like
that disparage the kid's dad.
the conversation, that's a great point. That it's to the father, but like all this conversation is like very base level. Like no one here is elevated. You know, so like the guy that's biting, there's a guy that's biting the hand that feeds. That's Kevin.
If Pete Davidson is Kim Kardashian, part of Kim, you know, that comparison is totally valid. Like Sam Asghari gives total Pete Davidson vibe.
Not
He's
as
married.
scummy.
It's way better than like a boyfriend.
Not as scummy for sure.
Yeah.
And not as intrusive. But these comments,
They're
I don't
petty.
like it. I don't like it.
I don't like them either. They're petty as hell. But like what I'm saying is that I don't see a side that's clearly in the right. Because
we're discussing family matters, and family matters are rarely one-sided.
And Kevin Federline had said that, you know, she basically started the whole bringing family matters to social media thing.
Yep. She's been all too happy
just
to
the
talk
other
about
day,
this stuff on social media.
Yeah, posting screenshots of her texts with her mother and making accusations. It's like, do you have an option not to respond then when your character is getting attacked by someone with a far larger following than you, but someone you love regardless?
But if his argument is like it's for the kids, like I don't know if the kids love when dad and mom are like having a media storm. You know, like
right.
You'd hope to have like a sensible parent.
Yeah, I mean, it's what he said is his motivation for taking this public is aiming to tell his side of the story and not retribution. I don't know.
I also love the part where Sam Asghari is like, she's not posting nudes because they like censor them.
Yeah, she only showed her butt.
As if that somehow makes it better
like,
for the kids.
I don't think you, a childless male model, have any concept of what it's like to have children or any concept of what it's like to be Britney Spears' children.
Yeah, that part, I laughed at that part. It was like, they're not even nudes.
I mean, even if she doesn't do that type of thing on social media, you're going to get made fun of at school regardless because of being Britney Spears' kid.
We've got a whole generation of poor kids that are going to grow up with OnlyFans moms, and it's going to be very,
and
very
this is
difficult.
essentially what's going on. Yep. I mean, not as explicit, but it's... I don't think that was ever a wise decision. And it doesn't bode well for the type of mental state she's in right now.
No, it does not.
At all.
Nope.
Man, I really want that book that's being written about the conservatorship. Like, truly. Like,
there was already a book, right? Framing Britney?
No, but isn't she going to write one?
Oh, her memoir.
Well, I don't know, and that's going to get done.
I don't even know if that is done because there's a paper shortage in the Biden administration that means that they can't print the book. But it's
Biden.
It's already done, but they can't print it because there's not enough paper.
That's hilarious. But like,
supposedly.
Let's say that one day we get good old American paperback.
Blame Biden, like blame Canada, but just blame Biden.
I would really love to read that book because like I want to know at least from her side, like what the conservatorship was about.
But you don't even know if that's going to be her side because it's going to be ghostwritten.
Yep.
I want to hear something.
She doesn't even have the ability to write an Instagram caption that makes any grammatical sense, let alone a book.
Yep, she's
Well, in that case, it's good that she has a ghostwriter if she's that incoherent.
But a ghostwriter that's going to write the story in without necessarily the truth.
Leave Britney alone.
That's literally you right now.
Have you seen that video?
I have. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
All right, I want to do a couple more before for Podluck. I do want to talk quickly about Chris Pratt pushing back at people. I got a kick out of this one because I was looking up the amount of streams that some of these shows get. So the Terminal List did very, very well and got like 1.6 billion minutes of streaming, which is very, very good. But I looked it up and like Stranger Things had like 4.2 billion. So,
damn.
But that's obviously that's like the high end of like Stranger Things as a cultural phenomenon right now. But basically pushes back where he talks about how they didn't make it for the people, the critics. You know, I actively support people who want to stick it in the face of snob-nosed critics. I'm very, very happy with that.
Well, I thought he just meant he was at the top on Amazon, not all of streaming.
I know, but I was laughing because I wanted to compare it to like non-Amazon streaming because like me and you talk about it all the time. Watching Amazon is a chore all the time. Trying to watch.
Well, if you're watching, it's fine. You just don't you dare try to rewind or fast forward, okay?
It's a damn bummer. So it says, according to Nielsen, at least 1.6 billion minutes were devoted to streaming Pratt's new show. I can't wait to see season 2. I hope he like disembowels another person in the show, and they do it in an even gorier way. That was my favorite part of that episode. But I did have a very hard time buying Chris Pratt as like angry
because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. Like I kept expecting him to like forgive people, and he kind of is.
He's a banana nut muffin.
He's in good shape, but still a muffin. But still a muffin. There was also so Rosario Dawson let it slip that they're going to confirm a Punisher reboot at Disney Plus. I didn't put it. I just threw this up here because this isn't really a full topic. And then she recanted, and now they're saying that might not be the fact, but she might have let it slip, and it will end up being the case that they're going to bring out of all the people they could bring back. John Bernthal is the Punisher, is who they should bring back. Jessica Jones, like I liked all of those actors in their Netflix roles. I liked I liked Coulter as Luke Cage. I like Jessica Jones. What's her name? Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, and of course Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is fantastic. They've already brought back Matt Murdock, and they are bringing back Jessica Jones with a Disney Plus series called AKA Jessica Jones. So if they bring back the Punisher, as long as they don't nerf the violence and make it Disney. As long as you keep the violence and bring it back, like they need to do that. So that will be very cool. And Rosario Dawson is obviously very connected to Disney because she's also Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars. So
also, if the violence in the Star Wars series is any indicator, I don't think they'll be too shy about adding violence.
Let's hope not. I mean, I really don't understand the point of like why. What's the point of owning most of Hulu if you're not going to put anything on Hulu, right? Like Amazon, like HBO Max. Eventually, I guess the idea is to merge all of the Discovery Plus content onto HBO Max and make it one service for Warner Brothers and for Discovery. But with Disney's a brand that used to, it doesn't anymore, used to carry a certain connotation of kid friendly. Disney used to own a number of like other studio. I don't remember if Touchstone was one of the studios they owned, or like Lighthouse, but they owned a bunch of production studios so that they could make R-rated movies, just not under the Disney banner. So it never made sense to me.
A common tactic by these like mega corporations sometimes is to buy their competition so they can freeze them. So like if you think about it, like Disney Plus like just released, right? And like they may have like just bought Hulu just so that they can have more creative control of it.
They don't own Hulu. They own like 70 or 80% of Hulu. I believe Comcast still owns the other 20 or 30%. I could be wrong about that.
I mean, if you control 70%.
But they own most. Yeah. It's also where they put their ESPN content outside of just ESPN Plus or whatever the streaming service is there. So I would like to see them bring back that. I'd like her to come back as night nurse on that show. So John Bernthal, as great as that character, I don't know if you guys watched the show We Own the City with John Bernthal. It's
the only thing I've seen him in is Walking Dead.
That's where most people know. He's an extremely versatile actor. So
I'm so sick of zombies stuff.
I mean, we're not really in a zombie era right now, are we?
Thank God.
I mean, Walking Dead hasn't been relevant for a really long time.
I know. not for quite some time. And then one more thing before we go. Normally we end on before we do super chats. Normally we end on womp womp womp, but I want to end on something positive today.
No, boo!
I know.
What are you doing to the show?
I'm ruining it. Top Gun Maverick becomes the 7th highest grossing movie of all time, surpassing Titanic.
Wow.
Take that, Rose. That's what you get for hogging that stupid door and not letting, maybe if you had let Leo sit on the door with you, this wouldn't have happened. This is your own fault, James Cameron.
Dude, growing up is realizing that Rose is like an unhinged woman that really should let go of that booty call she had.
It's
like
just
every
a movie
song.
about
she was
her
a villain. I mean, it's insane if you think about it. Like I don't even think her fiance was that bad of a guy.
I mean, he smacked her. That was
whatever.
But like,
whatever.
It was what was it? 1917. 1916.
if the
Get over yourself.
It's like if they wouldn't even beat up,
he would take good care of her, and she was just two timing.
A lot of like the memes were like it's literally a movie about like a woman's cheating on her husband with a poor guy. Like
it would literally never happen.
It's literally it's just let's watch this movie about me cheating on my husband with a poor guy on vacation.
Ew.
And, like she got like remarried, and the sister like he was the love of my life,
and then
like,
throws the necklace.
And then this historical event where so many people were like terrified in their last moments of life is forever thought of as a cheesy love story.
Now the only thing I think about it's turned into memes for me. One, it's the one where it's like they're dancing and it's the shot of each of them. And it says, I'm poor. I live with my parents. Let's make a baby. And then the other, or no, I don't have a job. I live with my parents. Let's make a baby. And then the other one, it's anytime he's got his sketchbook and showing, and they put it, it's like either Pokemon cards or it's like, draw me like one of your French girls, and it's like him drawing a stick figure, and it cuts to
that's the best one,
and it cuts to the Leonardo like meme from what was that movie from
The Great Gatsby?
No, it's from the one
Wolf of Wall Street.
No, the Tarantino movie, the Django Unchained. Like it's him making the face. It's like that was like the meme that was like meme MVP for all of COVID was that meme. Was the Leo Django Unchained meme. So that's what that movie is now to me. It's just memes.
I always think of like Celine Dion's overly dramatic song, like
it was good for the time.
My dreams.
It was a time. So I was surprised by like the highest grossing movies of all time. I always assumed number one was Avengers Endgame. It is not the highest grossing.
What is it?
Domestic. It's Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Which one's that?
That's the first one of the new trilogy.
Get out, dude.
That's insane.
That movie is garbage.
Yep.
Because they had everyone's hopes up.
$936 million. Avengers Endgame, $858 million.
Is that second?
Avengers Endgame is Spider-Man No Way Home is third with $804 million. And so Top Gun Maverick is 7. Just past Titanic, and it's closing in on Avengers Infinity War, which is number 6. Black Panther is number 5.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening to our culture?
Dude, number one is the biggest example of cultural decline I've ever heard.
Well, think about that. Like, so if number one is Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the next one from the new trilogy doesn't come in until number 16. Or no, I'm sorry, number 15.
Dude, the whole
No,
movie.
I'm wrong. Number 11. So it's the number one movie of all time is a Star Wars new trilogy one. The next closest in that trilogy doesn't come out till after the top 10.
Wow.
Damn, Waffles.
Yep. Oh, damn. Okay.
Thank you.
So I don't know if either of you guys are fans of Avatar, but that's coming out. Do you think that's going to end up in the top 10?
No, thank
Dane
you.
is now. Does that mean he's tied? Yeah, Clay?
5?
He's tied. If they
Oh
have
my God.
another one,
That's
then he will be
No.
the record for the whole show.
Every night in my dreams, I hear you. I see you.
Put on a show.
that. Maybe we put that. That
I just want to say, I said we could get to 5, and Mary was like, curve your expectations.
technically
Look who's laughing now.
Dane wins.
Me.
Honestly, I'm still laughing.
Now I
but-
kind of want to put him singing Celine Dion as our crisis song.
At least on his episodes.
Yes.
Please.
We'll have to figure out how to do that on Stream Deck. So, guys, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but Titanic finally unseated. Top Gun Maverick.
Gyrate, Dane. Go,
Top Gun
go,
Maverick.
go.
Top Gun Maverick proving that longevity is the key to making money.
It's the button.
And it's
Do another button. They will get another crisis party.
Maybe.
And you just,
Whoa.
are you
it's
really any
getting
different?
steamy.
Are you really any different than one of those OnlyFans girls if you do that?
Am
Maybe
I?
he doesn't want to be different. Maybe he wants to be just
Fair
like
enough.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
So to me, I think we have to stress from now on that longevity to make it in those high ranges of the box office there is that the movie has to actually be good. So, all right, let's do super chats.
Okay. Rega Tan sent this currency I don't recognize.
What did you say that was, Dean? That Indonesian?
I don't remember, but it was like
IDR.
62 cents. But we appreciate every donation we
you.
do. Thank you.
Okay, and then another one from Rega Tan said Tim should be playing Elden Ring instead of
What is he playing right now?
What is HFW?
I don't know what that game is. Dude, I bought Elden Ring for Tim for his birthday. He played it once and he was like, nah.
Gave
So,
up.
well, he tried.
Blue Heart said someone needs to stop telling Brittany that she looks good. Nude.
Or for the love of all that is good,
I don't know
please
if she even cares
hire
about looking good anymore.
hire a professional photographer. Get a Photoshop expert on there. Let's go. If you're gonna do it right.
Ugh. Or not at all. Will Dark said, wait, Prey, a predator stalks a native girl who thinks she knows better than her family. Haven't seen it yet. Does he also choke a woman in Iceland?
What if we found out that
Oh,
Ezra Miller
no.
played the Predator?
Oh, no,
They put
no.
they put Ezra Miller on stilts and just let him be the Predator.
I mean, have
He's
you
the real Predator here.
ever seen Ezra Miller? Oh my god. And the Predator at the same time?
No,
No.
we'll never
And
know.
I was saying he looks too human-like.
That,
Oh.
well, I mean that precludes Miller. For the
By
most
the way,
part.
I didn't mean the face or the head of the predator. It's not human-like at all, obviously. It's just, I think the body and the way it walks around, it looks like just a dude in a suit.
And if I remember correctly, the original concept of the Predator, somebody in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. It was literally Jean-Claude Van Damme in like a fly suit or something like that. It was some type of like bug suit was what the original design for the Predator was. But then he couldn't be in the movie anymore, so then they had to change it and then became that. So.
Ryan Brown said Prey was almost good if it hadn't been for the Mary Sue annoying main character. She single-handedly ruined that movie. Well, that's basically the whole movie, dude.
Yep.
So why would it have been good without her?
A little bit of humility on her part would have gone a long way.
The movie would have been good if it had not been the movie.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think it was just bad, dude.
Got it.
Halls and the Kids said, for dearest Dave, get ready for hostage crisis.
Well, we're kind
Look,
of
we want a sixth party. It would be a record for both Dane and us.
I'm just saying, my dance moves can only go up.
The gyrating can only get harder.
I mean, I don't want to sweat, so maybe we should.
Okay. Jonathan Harris said, is Marvel changing the Punisher symbol since it's now a symbol of violent extremism?
Yeah.
Did I miss something?
Because cops and military people love the Punisher skull, and they use it. So there was a hilarious thing of like one of the Uvalde cops had like a Punisher, like of all the embarrassments. But like they changed the Punisher symbol in like a recent run of the comics, because in the comic, if I remember correctly, he is he's takes over control of the Hand, which is a group of ninjas, and it was like a way to cleverly get him to stop using guns because he's violent. He can kill people with any weapon. I don't know if that was the purpose of it. I don't know if that's a long-term. I don't know if that's a canon story or if that's like whatever their what if story. Caper 2X might know better, but yeah, they did a thing where they changed his symbol, and it doesn't look very cool without the skull. People just love the symbol because it looks cool.
Yeah.
So.
Waffles Sensei said a message to Tim Pool. We want super spicy after show pop culture crisis. The people are ready. Also, I hope this gets us to Crisis Party 5.
It did, my friend.
That it did,
absolutely
and thank
did.
you. Well, you should let him know on IRL, too.
Yes, you should.
Waffles, you're not so bad.
No, you're not. I mean, I never thought you were bad, but Dane did.
I did, definitely.
Blueheart said Avatar 2 will have something to say about that.
We'll see about that. I watch a lot of Mr. H reviews, and he's like a lot of people were like a lot of channels were like, do people really still care about Avatar?
I don't think so.
But they do.
I don't think anyone cared about Avatar in the first place. They just watched it, because of the gimmick.
The glasses.
Yeah, at the time, I think the Critical Drinker had a video called it was called like Avatar, like the most successful flop of all time or something like that.
I also thought it was weird that it was in theaters at the exact same time as the Last Airbender movie. Like, that's bad marketing.
Bad marketing.
Ryan Brown said $10 to get 5 back for his singing.
I don't understand,
Wait,
but thank you.
Okay. Halls and the Kids said Dane's hips don't lie.
They don't.
They do not.
That's so true. Jonathan Harris said, with a spicy pop culture crisis, will you read Bad Apps posts, Mary?
That depends, right? Like
some of them.
Some
of them, for sure. Not all.
Not all.
No promise on all.
She's got too much, what would that be? Just
too much pride.
Pride. Yeah. I don't know. Was it pride? Was it be pride? It's like, there
are just certain things that I don't want to say ever.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Some of Bad Apps super chats include that.
Yes. Mary, do you have an announcement to make before we move on?
Yeah,
let people know?
I do. It's a sad announcement for a lot of you. Maybe happy for some. I don't know. I'm going to be out of town starting on Thursday through Thursday of next week. So my sit-in will be Taylor Silverman, and we're going to have the same guests as usual.
Yep.
So don't be too alarmed, but I will miss you. I will call in.
We're working it out right now. We're gonna set it up.
I'll not be gone long.
So we were gonna originally do a thing where she just introduces herself as Mary and does your intro, and then we don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, let's just not acknowledge it at all.
We'll
have a blonde wig, and it'll be fine.
We will have to give her a crash course in being super based if we're going to get her to pull that.
The thing is, she's so nice, it wouldn't even be believable. So
like, she looks far too friendly for that.
Yeah.
That's what they'd say. That's what they'd say. So we're but we will have a show Thursday, but it will not be live, right?
Yeah, we're going to pre-record the show that we post on Thursday.
Perfect. Yep. So we will have that. So Thursday there will be no live show, but we will have that out for you. I believe Hannah Claire will be our guest that day, and so we're gonna do that.
We've already got content in the works for that one.
Oh yeah, we're staying busy here. We're staying busy here. So before we go, Dane, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
At Dane Font on Twitter. But before that was standing, I want to really thank everyone, guys. Not only did we break the curse today, we freaking lapped it. Like, I was stuck at 2, and look at us. We're now at 5.
Dane,
wow. Incredible.
One more super chat to bring us to 6. Home run.
No, that is you guys don't understand, but that is very emotional for Dane. That is.
It is. Yeah. I just kept thinking,
remember.
am I not a pretty girl?
Well, is he?
Well, Dane is every woman. In fact, he's kind of a femme fatale figure.
Yes, he is.
I like that.
Dane, let everyone know where they can find you.
At Dane Font on Twitter.
Perfect. Mary,
where
can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram or WeChat at Closer Kitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there.
That she does. Guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. For the show, we are here Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch, I don't know why you would, but you can on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify. Please also like the stream, like the videos when you see them. The views on the regular videos also help in the algorithm. So like the video right there. It's down there. Like the video.
It's right there. The buttons are right there, guys.
We
just do it.
We would really appreciate that. So like the video. We're on social media. We're on Twitter at @popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at @popculturecrisis, on Instagram at @popculturecrisispod. And before we go, we will go. Mary, do you want to read them?
I'm not going to read Bad App's chat. Jonathan Harris said James Cameron's Avatar was better than the other one. That's true, but it wasn't tough competition. Ryan Brown said, come on, party. Oh. I can't see the meter anymore. How close are we to another party?
We're pretty close, but not.
More than half,
We're more than halfway. That's fine. Guys, thank you so much.
You got about 5 seconds to decide. Yep. Blue Heart said, I love you guys.
I love you too, bro.
Thank you.
Blue Heart. Thank you. Guys, thank you for checking out the stream today. We will be back with another episode live tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.